This is Australia. Australia can be described as a vibrant and multicultural nation, being home to the world's culture and inhabitants who can identify with more than 270 ancestries. Australia is a society of people from a rich diversity of cultural, ethnic, linguistic, and religious background. Thoroughly, it is this rich cultural diversity that acts as its main strength, which embodies its natural identity. One of the things about living in a multicultural society is that there can be differences in how people experience a common phenomenon, and this can be in relation to race and ethnicity. Race and ethnicity are two constantly overlapping concepts that most people often confuse. Race and ethnic inequality is a controversial issue that have been discussed or debated on. Thus, race and ethnic stereotype is a realistic problem that people around the globe are subjected into. Pacific people have a long association with Australia as part of its identification within the Oceania region. With the majority migrating through the evolving multicultural policy of the 1960s, Australia's Pacific population are now recognized as a group of 23 Pacific ancestry from across the Melanesian, Polynesian, and Micronesian grouping of South Pacific Island states and territories. The case study in which this video focuses to look into is of particularly the Samoan population residing in Australia and the racial problems they experience. Thoroughly, there are four main areas in which race and ethnic inequality are mostly occurring and developing, and these are in the educational system, employment, crime and justice system, and the media. Foremost, education. A myth that is made about the Samoan group is that the Samoan students are usually slow thinkers and learners in the Australian educational system, according to Singh and Sinclair 2010. Thoroughly, this myth has been developed and supported by Lo Bianca 2009, stating the fact that majority of Polynesian students are placed in lower classes in various schools across Australia. In some cases, we can also trace this idea to the reasons of a high number of school dropouts from the Samoan students as of given their inability to study and learn the Australian curriculum. In addition to challenging this myth, the article by Singh and Sinclair 2009 somehow summarizes the different experiences of biasness dealt by Samoan students in engaging with the Australian curriculum and educational system. One of the many issues that were mentioned was the problem of cultural differences and race in the educational system. Accordingly, there was a more racialized power relation between teachers and Samoan students in Australia, as for instance, Polynesian students like Samoans were usually distributed to lower classes within school. In regards to this, the educational system has yet determined the ability of a student based on their ethnicity rather than their academic attainment. On the other hand, the way in which teachers treat students showcases biasness. For Fonga, a Samoan teaching in one of the Australian secondary schools, explained in Singh's article how teachers have been treating the Samoan students differently. In such cases, she highlights how teachers formulate inconsistent disciplinary approaches against Polynesian students. Often, it is always the lack of understanding in which led to such prejudiced actions. Aside from that, over the years, there has been an increased number of Samoan students in Australia graduating with certificates and with degrees in reference to this graph. Hence, it has contributed to changing this myth and negative story. Also, there has been an active engagement of the Australian government and of the Samoan community in providing funds and various scholarship opportunities to support quality education for all Samoan students in Australia. Secondly, employment. The myth is that Samoans are unqualified workers. As according to McDonald and Obskim 2010, Samoans are usually violent people with an antisocial behavior. They lack communicational skills and they have a low literacy rate. In this sense, this stereotypical type of view is among some of the many factors affecting the employment rate among Samoans. This has led to many Samoans having to take on jobs as seasonal workers or low paying jobs in order to survive the day to day struggles. Despite the stereotype, Pacific people are still achieving across Australia. In challenging this myth, according to Revulo 2015, Samoans have accessibility to vocational and other work trainings in which usually equips them with the skills and potential to do the work that they are assigned to do. They are also positive learners, usually engage in educational seminars to build up their work ethics. In addition, with rising numbers of Samoan graduates in Australia, it has enabled a lot of Samoans to be part of Australia's workforce, as of being political leaders, to doctors, teachers, to name a few. In changing such negative story, majority of Samoa's academia has come out to challenge this ideology in encouraging the young and youth of Samoans in Australia to engage in school and earn degrees to secure a high-paid job in Australia. In some cases, the involvement of these Samoans in the government, businesses, and private sectors of Australia speaks for a fact that they are able to earn and do something to challenge this negative story and to earn something for themselves, as they are qualified and highly distinguished people. As for the media, Samoans have been represented as overweight and undesirable people, stated by George 2016. This myth has been based on a Western European culture concerning people's physical feature and size. Accordingly, it has influenced the way we see and categorize people, hence being overweight can somehow portray a person unhealthy, leading to them being undesirable. The involvement and exposure of Samoans in the media can somehow change various myths made against them. Thoroughly, their exposure and involvement has somehow proven that media is a platform for everyone in an equal manner, as it is not by color and ethnicity that determines the chance and opportunities to be on live television and throughout media. Far more often, we have seen diverse Pacific Islanders presenting in television broadcasts, movies such as the Samoan Australian actor Jailang Aya and several others. Also, it has impacted the way the world has seen other ethnicity grounds as not only just a minority group, but of people with the potential to do something. Accordingly, the Samoan population has played a huge part in the development of sporting careers and lifting Australia's name in various sporting events. Brent and George 2008 stated that one way of changing the myth of Samoan being overweight is through seeing the position and the percentage number of its people involved in sporting events and the workforce. For instance, the involvement of Samoan players such as Dipione and Christian Lelifan.